Ellos han hecho un largo viaje. Desde las dunas de neón las islas incendiadas y hasta el desierto más remoto. Ahora esperan. La tormenta se va creando. La presión crece. El desafío final es ahora. El momento del ataque ha llegado. Una última chance para la gloria del campeonato. El Energy Express está aquí.
Hyperdrive now.
The second ever Extreme E Championship will be decided here on the southern fingertip of Uruguay in the city of Punta del Este. But it all kicked off back in February in the deserts of Neom in Saudi Arabia, where there was drama right from the start.
Massive crash, it's McLaren!
The opening race of Season 2 saw a huge collision between Neom McLaren and RXR. Despite having damage, RXR hunted down their rivals to take the first win of the season. Next, we ventured to the Italian island of Sardinia in the heart of the Mediterranean, where an adrenaline-fueled double-header followed. Round 2's dramatic final saw Johan Kristoffersen and Carlos Sainz come together.
Contact, massive shot! Kristoffersen into Sainz!
Rosberg X Racing crossed the finish line first, but received a post-race penalty, handing number 99 GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing a maiden victory. Round 3 in Sardinia saw RXR bounce back, with a daring dive into the water by Michaela Arlin Kotelinski that saw them take a well-deserved victory. Round 4 saw the championship's first visit to South America and to the driest place on Earth, the ancient deserts of the Atacama. Antofagasta in Chile was the location as rivals battled to stay in the title fight.
Contact!
Number 99 GMC Hummer EV looked to be out of championship contention as they were beaten in their semi-final, but a technical issue for RXR before the start of the 5-car final meant the All-American outfit were back in the hunt.
And we are green, we are on the charge in Chile.
X44 Vida Carbon Racing muscled their way into the lead before a series of dropped flags meant potential time penalties, with the top 3 all under investigation.
Now Gutierrez has hit a flag!
Every second would count. Neom McLaren and X44 continued to battle all the way to the finish line, with Emma Gilmore crossing the finish line first.
Gilmore takes it from McLaren!
Time penalties for Neom McLaren and number 99 GMC Hummer EV handed Clara Anderson a debut podium for Abt Cupra in third. Acciona Sainz was second, and it was X44 who were crowned champions of the Copa X Prix. The final round of this season's title fight moves southeast across Latin America to the shores of Punta del Este in Uruguay, where it's advantage Rosberg X Racing.
For me to win the championship, it would be massive. I've never won a championship. It would mean so much, but it's still very tight. So we have to stay on our toes, do the best that we can do, and approach this weekend just like we do with every weekend.
Coming to the last race of the year in the lead and also as defending champions, that is a great feeling. You always have a little bit of a target on your back when you arrive. And yeah, we had some close fights during the year, so there will be elbows out definitely for the last event. But I think me and Michaela will just try to focus on what we can do and maximize our performance. It's going to be a tight fight, but yeah, we will do absolutely everything that we can to try and secure this championship.
The championship is raced in some incredible settings during Season 2, with each location being carefully chosen to highlight a specific environmental message. In Uruguay, the focus is on renewable energy.
Renewable energies are the energy that you can replenish. It's something that you can use and you can keep using as long as you need. It's different from something that is linear, like let's say fossil fuels that you extract, you use, and then at some point it's going to end. The winds, the solar, also hydropower. Renewable energies are very important on the climate crisis because they are first renewable, second because they do not contribute to the emissions to the atmosphere that is increasing temperature on our planet. The world is now facing a huge challenge in moving from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And currently, the matrix of energy is only 27% globally is renewable. If we come to Uruguay to see what they are doing, how they've been managing that, they are way beyond that. They are now 98% on renewables. And that's amazing. They are one of the leading countries in terms of renewable energy in our planet.
To learn more about this incredible achievement, Extreme E CEO and founder Alejandro Agag met the president of Uruguay ahead of the Energy X-Prix.
Presidente, te quiero agradecer en primer lugar la bienvenida. Uruguay para nosotros es un ejemplo para todo el mundo, para todo el planeta, de un país que ha conseguido básicamente casi abastecerse al 100% de energía renovable.
Nuestro país quiere hacer punta porque tiene las oportunidades y las posibilidades de hacerlo. De hecho, en estos años estuvimos exportando a países vecinos bastante energía, así que creo que estamos muy alineados.
Sí, nosotros lo vemos una coincidencia perfecta de la dirección en la que va Uruguay, en la dirección que va Extreme y el desarrollo de la tecnología de los autos eléctricos, porque Uruguay genera ya esta energía limpia, ahora hay que utilizarla en los medios de transporte y así se cierra el círculo.
Nosotros pretendemos llegar a tener un cargador de energía eléctrica a cada 50 kilómetros en nuestro país. Las baterías están durando más, se cargan en menos tiempo. Si tenemos cada 50 kilómetros, tenemos al país preparado. Yo creo que estamos en un momento ideal.
The Extreme E event site is usually far off-grid in remote parts of the planet, meaning using renewable sources is vital to the successful operation of the event. But for the first time here in Punta del Este, the paddock and fleet of race cars would also be plugged into Uruguay's national grid.
So for this event in Uruguay, the three main sources of power are the national grid, solar energy, which is used around the site, various places, and the hydrogen fuel cell system, which is behind me. Traditionally, events have been supplied with generators, and this is something we've avoided from the beginning. In season one, we started with the hydrogen fuel cell system behind me, and this was only part of the energy we need for the event side. Our aspiration is in season three that we want the event 100% powered with hydrogen, solar and wind. That is achievable.
Extreme decided to have a race here in Uruguay to show the world by example what should be done, and I think Uruguay is showing the world that it's possible to change.
The course in Punta del Este is in the shadows of the nearby wind turbines, and championship driver Timo Scheider takes us on a tour of what the teams will face at the final event of Season 2.
Hola a todos! Welcome to the Natural Energy X-Prix 2022 here from Uruguay. Well, right here we are actually at the start area. You see it's wide open in the beginning, but it's not just in the beginning. If you face down there to gate 1 and 2, you will see the first drop. Now we are right at gate 2, which is actually the first hot spot, I would call it, the dip. So we are at the bottom of gate 2, right after gate 2. And if you follow me down here, you see the shape of the income of this dip. And in the end, depending how much risk you take, you will see if the car and the driver handset. If not, you will be in trouble over there. When you come around here, waypoint 5 into 6, you prepare yourself for the Enoa Hyperdrive straight, I would call it. This is the most valuable place to use it, I would say. Well, here we are coming into the first low-speed section, technical section I would call it. Waypoint 10 is the corner. That's kind of a very low-speed hairpin. You have to set up the car in the right direction because right after the first dip, you jump out of this one into waypoint 11 and you have to get the rotation and position of the car right, because right after you are facing down into waypoint 12, where you have to have the right position, to have the right braking point, to enter waypoint 13, which is an infield straight, I would call it, into a long sweeping right-hander. It's a very nice corner, also a good spot for overtaking, I would say. If you come around waypoint 17, you rotate the car, floor it, and straight jump over this gap. And this is like, I would say, is minimum 2 meters height difference. Now we are here just before the end of the lap between waypoint 22 and 23. Right here next to me you see the final jump. This can be also a decider. And right over there, if you're facing waypoint 23, there you go for the second lap to the left. And if you want to go to the switch zone, you have to turn 90 right.
That's the course for the Energy X Prix. Now here's a reminder of how the event works. Extreme E is a fully electric off-road championship racing on the most challenging terrains across the globe. 10 world-class teams, each fielding one male and one female driver in gender-equal lineups. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Enoir hyperdrive boost in every session, giving them an increase in power to provide thrilling overtakes. There are also bonus points available for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course over the weekend. Day 1 is qualifying, with a round of time trials followed by a round of head-to-head races. This decides how teams line up for Day 2's racing. Day 2 sees high-speed knockout racing with the goal of reaching the final. First up is the 2 semi-finals, where the top 2 teams progress from each. Then it's the last chance to progress in the winner-takes-all crazy race. The 5-car main event sees the teams battle it out to be crowned X Prix winner. The team with the most points after 5 races will be crowned Extreme E champions. The first action on course for the Energy X Prix was the first qualifying 1 session, where all the teams would run against the clock to determine the second multi-car race qualifying session later the same day. Championship leaders Rosberg X Racing had a 17-point lead over X44, with Acciona Sainz and number 99 GMC Hummer EV still in the mix to take the title too. Hedda Hossas in the JBXE car was the first driver to discover that the seemingly beautiful and tranquil location was anything but, as she rolled her Odyssey 21 car onto its roof.
I'm sorry, guys.
Michaela Arling-Kotalinski was first out for the championship leaders in the RXR car, and she also got into early trouble, saving one 2-wheeled moment early on in her run, only to land awkwardly later on with more serious consequences.
And she goes over this time, a second mistake. Arling-Kotalinski rolls the car. That is the worst possible start to their race weekend.
The accident gave hope that the season was not yet done for Cristina Gutierrez in the X44 car as she launched into her first qualifying lap. But the terrain here was really not to be underestimated.
Oh no, another roll!
Third one,
That's a big one.
Could the team recover their weekend and the championship fight from such a heavy impact?
Lo siento, chicos.
Veloce Racing brought some familiar faces to Uruguay to form a brand new lineup. An ex-RXR and Season 1 champion Molly Taylor and ex-JBXE driver Kevin Hansen wasted no time in proving their worth as they steamed to the top of the timings. But it was the Spanish pairing of Laia Sanz and 2-time World Rally champion Carlos Sainz who set out their intentions with the fastest 4-lap time of the course. But the action was just getting started. As a member of a family with true motorsport heritage, Veloce Racing's Kevin Hansen is no stranger to victory on track. Having started the season with JBXE, he now ends the final race with a new team in Veloce. But for Kevin, it is family on and off the circuit that matters most to him.
My name is Kevin Hansen, I'm 24 years old from Sweden and I drive Extreme E for Veloce Racing. We are the rallycross family. My father is a 14-time European champion, the most successful rallycross driver in the world. So my role model and my idol growing up for sure. My mom, she's the only female rallycross champion on a European level ever, but unfortunately I never got to see her race. My childhood was very motorsport focused. When I was a kid I was always traveling with my parents around Europe on rallycross races and living with the team in our team bus from I was just 2 months old until I was 12, 13 years old. Since I was very young I started go-karts. As soon as I could, I said to my parents one day, can I do rallycross instead? My goal was always to be a European rallycross champion in the top category. My rallycross career was very successful, I must say, in the junior categories. I was always in the front, always taking victories, and at the time I got the eyes on me in 2014. I became a Red Bull athlete, I became a Peugeot driver, and from that point I could just take next step and the next step. And in 2016, given the opportunity to go in a great car in the European Supercar Championship, I won the first 4 races and with that secured my biggest dream of my life, to become a European champion, being the youngest to do so ever. I was 18 years old, and becoming the Rookie of the Year by FIA against all the F1 drivers and different, super talented guys and girls. That was just a huge year for me. Timmy is my brother. He's 6 years older and he drives for Andretti United. Probably one of the best drivers I know. Super talented, super fast. He's a role model for me. He helped me so much when I was young. He has been the key part of my junior driver success, I think. Without that help, I couldn't be at the same level, like we see each other as equally good. Maybe I'm a bit better. These last few years that we're both hunting for the same title, and it's gonna be a bit more cold mood sometimes and a bit hard, but in the end of the day we need to race fair, and also we always think of our parents. We want to make them proud on this world stage in front of so many fans and great teams and names, to make them proud and carry our name forward in doing good for both of us. That is always the key. For me, Extreme E is life-changing. It's the first opportunity that I've gotten to really use my platform to speak about climate change and equality. It's just more than racing. It's have a purpose. It's about saving our planet and raising a voice to bring more people aware of what's going on. And that is what I love about this championship. To have 5 podiums is for me a fantastic achievement in such a competitive field. But I don't have the first place trophy yet, and that is something I'm hunting still.
While racing in Uruguay, Extreme E took the opportunity to share a creative and spiritual experience with the Uruguayan artist Ago Paez Villaró. Following the steps of her dad's passion, creator of one of the most iconic and livable sculptures in Uruguay, Casa Pueblo, she wants to help with the conservation of nature and the planet through her art.
Desde que yo soy niña aprendí arte con mi padre. Mi padre fue escultor, pintor, escritor, cineasta. Hizo muchísimas cosas de arte. La influencia de mi padre con respecto a mí es que él siempre vio que yo iba a ser un artista y motivó en mi arte para seguir creando. Mi primer diseño que me enseñó fue a pintar el sol, y eso me llevó a crear los mandalas. Los mandalas es mi gran creación. Lo que más me inspira es la naturaleza, las flores, los pájaros, el sol, las estrellas, el universo. Amo mi profesión, siento que el arte es el verdadero lenguaje del espíritu. Yo siento que trabajando con los mandalas conectamos con nuestro ser interior y ahí conectamos con nuestra creatividad. Extreme me eligió para trabajar en este evento, para crear un mandala entre todas las personas. Cada persona puede dar diferentes pinceladas, entonces entre todos vamos a crear un sol gigante. It's no important to stay with the line.
No rules.
No rules.
Good. It's very relaxing.
Muchas personas a veces cuando ven un artista trabajando se intimidan, pero luego toman el pincel y comienzan todos a trabajar. Me parece que es una forma de conectar con las personas más profundamente y luego todo el mundo queda feliz porque los colores y su vibración nos transforman. Yo trabajo para eso, trabajo para que todas las personas podamos descubrir eso que no se ve, la esencia de lo que no vemos para poderlo transmitir y crear un mundo feliz.
The time had come at the Energy X Prix for the second qualifying session and the first multi-car race of the weekend. 5 cars lining up alongside each other with championship contenders X44 Vida Carbon Racing, Acciona Sainz and number 99 GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing, all in with a chance of snatching the title away. Alongside them, Genesis Andretti United and Excite Energy Racing, with a new driver in Ezekiel Compag at the wheel.
So 5 cars taking the start. They're all pretty level at the moment. X44 just stepping aside. It looks like Chip Ganassi have just held back. Acciona Sainz hustling down Andretti United. Are the two going to make contact? There's contact behind.
X44's Sebastian Loeb had to take evading action to avoid the spinning Excite Energy car, leaving Genesis Andretti's Timmy Hansen to take the lead from Carlos Sainz at the first turn.
Great job, great job. Everyone else is way behind.
After missing his chance to take the lead at the start, Loeb seemingly decided to pull off the racing line and out of the dust from the cars ahead. He dropped to the back of the pack, but maybe with one eye on the 5 championship points available for the fastest time through the Continental Traction Challenge. Meanwhile, Hansen had his foot down out in front.
There is the leader. It's Timmy Hansen for Genesis Andretti United, trying to find a way to extend that lead. It's almost out to 5 seconds now between him and the Acciona Sainz team. You can see it visibly growing.
Unbox this lap, get well in and brake hard on the box.
At the driver's switch zone, Timmy Hansen failed to pull his car fully into the box, and the stewards awarded the team a 5-second penalty. Katie Munnings had her game face on as she left to get back on course, knowing that second place Laia Sands would be hunting her down.
Katie, keep the pressure. We have 6 seconds, but we have 5 seconds penalty.
This would be the time you want to get on the radio and say, push a little bit harder, 7/10 of a second, and we get to take the win. So she's now 5/10 back. Laia Sands closing down that gap on Katie Munnings out front.
5.5, push Katie, single braking and gas, gas, gas. Just find a bit, just push a bit, Katie.
Munnings pushing so hard through the right-hander, through the dip now, and in the background, Sands still chasing her hard as well, but the gap's gone up to 8.5.
8.5, great job, keep this up, keep this up.
Despite that 5-second penalty for the switch zone, Genesis Andretti United going to come over the finish line to win race 1 of Q2.
Great job, Katie.
Cristina Gutierrez had pushed hard in the X44, eventually finishing 4th. But Loeb's plan of dropping back in order to have a clear line through the Traction Challenge had paid off, as their combined times were the fastest so far of the weekend. But it's a risky tactic, as now they had to win the crazy race to make it into the final. The second qualifying race would see championship leaders RXR up against App Cupra, Veloce Racing with their new lineup, Neon McLaren and JBXE, with debutant Fraser McConnell starting. A top 3 finish vital for the chance to make it through to the semi-finals.
Away from the line, looks like he's got a great start. Kevin Hansen inside him has as well. Alan Tyre outside him. Alan Tyre looks like he's nudging into the lead with Tanner Faust alongside. Christopherson keeps it lit on the inside though, goes deep into turn 1, allows the car to run wide. Great decision, he'll now hold that inside line. Faust drops back all the way down. He's going to surely hold the inside line into turn 2 as well. Alatia tries to go all the way around the outside. Contact! Fraser McConnell into the back of RXR. It's Alatia who leads you right on board now with Johan Christopherson in P2. Not where he planned from the start.
You can just see Alatia out in front. Then it's RXR making the dash down. They're going to go on the outside. They're going to try and get the gather here. They can't quite get enough pace to get round it, but it means he'll have the inside going into the right-hand line. Who's going to come out of this, Alatia or Christopherson? It's Christopherson that leads the way.
Blasting through the dirt, absolutely zero visibility. Kevin Hansen up the inside of Fraser McConnell.
Nasser right behind you.
Straight into the back, what is going on? That is Alatia pushing Christopherson round. That's a ludicrous move. Carnage. Kevin Hansen moves up into the lead. Absolute carnage. Oh, could he not see?
The only thing I can think of is he was blindsided and couldn't see where he was driving. Otherwise, you don't go straight at the back of someone. With Christopherson is holding it together. He must be furious in that car.
And then broke my wheel.
At the driver's switch, things weren't looking good for the RXR team after that incident with Nasser Alatia.
Oh no, they've moved.
It doesn't engage drive. Can I jump out?
Yeah.
Clara Anderson now had the wheel of the Apt Cupra machine, with Veloce Racing's Molly Taylor in her sights.
Okay, Molly, get 3.5 seconds behind. We need a clean run.
Gap is okay, 1.6 seconds, 2 seconds to the real.
2 car lengths behind. Open 4.
If it's possible, we overtake, but not full risk.
She's going to go for the inside line. Can she get through when she comes up to the Veloce car? No, she can't. Molly Taylor's just got enough pace, but Veloce still have their Renault hyperdrive to use as well.
Inside, she's having another look this time. She's going to go in deep. Surely trying. She does get through, goes in deep, passes Taylor on the inside.
Despite that fantastic drive from Clara, Abs Cooper received a 30-second penalty for Alatia's impact with Christopherson, dropping them down to 4th and handing the win to Veloce. It was a fantastic day of action for the new Veloce Racing pairing as they topped the day's qualifying, leaving the 2 championship favourites to fight it out in the 4-car crazy race on day 2 to secure the last spot in the final. The winners of the second season of Extreme E was still far from decided as we head towards the conclusion of this electric odyssey.